This is why I do this, why I'm out here, why I keep that hammer down. Flying by these road signs, but home on my mind. But these wheels turning round for my family and for my kids. For this life I wanna live. And this is why I do this.
Well, hello, everybody. Thanks for coming in today. We got a lot to talk about today. And of course, like always, we'll get around to all the comments as well. Want to thank everybody for being here on a Sunday. I know Sunday's not the best time to do videos, but I've got some great news regarding that as well. So we'll get to that as well. Before we go any further, let me say hello to the channel members who are still sticking with me even through everything. I greatly appreciate them. We're down to 5, so it won't take long. At one time, we was up around 25. I think we even got to 30 at one point. I don't remember exactly. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. We got Ramon, who was the original channel member. He stuck with me all along. Robbie Ross, Corey Oatley, KC, and Adam. I appreciate all of you for the channel memberships. If you'd like more information on that, it should be down below the video. There's a $sign. You can click on that, get more information. Also, make sure you're subscribed, things like that. You know the routine. All YouTubers say the same thing. Like, subscribe, share, all that. Any of those things you can do would greatly help me out. So we've got a lot to talk about, as you guys know. The last 2 weeks have not been great for me. And if we want to be honest, the last 18 months have not been great for me. And during all this time, I've been and I've said, I think things are going to get better. And I was wrong. I'll be the first to tell you it has not got better. As a matter of fact, the only people that are telling me that the economy is better is people that want me to drive for them in about 4 weeks when I'm eligible to potentially drive again. And so I was watching a channel. It was the Fly Rabbit and Poppy, and they were talking about that they've been going to truck stops and they've been seeing truck drivers begging in the parking lot for money for food. And they were able to narrow it down to mostly foreigners. They said several of them have told them they're working for $300 a week. And you guys know when it comes to begging, it's real hard to discern who's telling the truth and who's lying. But even if it's not $300, I know that right now in trucking, almost everybody's struggling. And it's tough right now. It's tough to make a dollar. And I also know that in times like this, trucking companies, when it comes down to will they cut your throat or their throat, they'll cut your throat. And they're going to make sure they get taken care of before you do. So there's a lot of dishonesty and things like that going on in the market as well. And it's frankly bringing out the worst in all of us. I saw that even this past week when I was with family, that when things get stressful, it brings out the worst in all of us. And so the big question becomes, am I going to drive again? And I did a whole video where I answered that for some people. And answer is still kind of the same. I think it would be foolish for me to come back in right now when the market's like it is. Many of you are getting out of it because the market is the way it is. Now, me and you both may enter at some point, but I think we want to see some things to be optimistic about first. And that's kind of what I'm doing. Now, because of the stroke, I'm going to be starting over. And if I do come back, you're going to see me do some things that you've seen in the videos in the past that I've said, hey, don't do that. That's a bad idea. I'm definitely going to be starting with less capital than I ever have before. And I'm definitely going to have to hope to have some successes in the beginning. I might even have to do a company driver job for a while. I honestly don't know. Right now, I'm not going to do it though in this market. And I think that's why these videos are going to be great for all of us because we can learn from each other. Some of you, you're not far from having to start over yourself. And so I think it's going to be real relatable videos. I think people are going to understand. You guys know I'm going to tell you the truth. I'm not going to blow smoke at you. I would love to go back to work for SRO Logistics. That may or may not be possible based on what the market does. It doesn't make sense to go back and run the spot market if I can make more as a company driver or if an opportunity opens up to be home every day or home every weekend with family. And so keep me in your thoughts and prayers and we'll get it figured out. But yeah, I'm real curious what you guys think about this, what y'all think about the market, what you see. Guys are telling me, especially on the spot market, that they're spending hours and hours looking for loads. And then when they get to the shipper, loads are canceling. Uh, Companies are saying that they're having trouble getting freight and retaining drivers. And who can blame them? You know, I've always said this about truck drivers. Let's be completely honest. Most of them, or some of them anyway, are not the most educated people on the world. Some of them don't have the best social skills in the world. But the overwhelming majority of them are out here because they love their family and they're trying to take care of their family the best way they can. If the money's not there, then they've got to do something to survive. And trucking is a great opportunity for that, especially if you're not what we'd call a people person. You'd rather be by yourself. Now, there can be a flip side to that. It can be lonely out there on the road. And so you need to have a good support system, either at home or some friends that you can talk to, because otherwise it's like being in prison with solitary confinement. And I do agree that trucking, you know, I heard this the whole 27 years I drove. Trucking is a lifestyle, and once you get in it, it's hard to get out of it. I think it's hard because you do it for so long, and then when you get out of it, you go somewhere and they say, well, we'll give you $15 an hour. And you think, man, I don't, you know, I used to make in a day what these people are making in a week. And so it's kind of hard to adjust and accept that pay cut. But one thing I was talking to somebody about earlier is what I call trucker inflation. And so, do you make more money out on the road? Absolutely. Do you spend more money out on the road? Absolutely, because you're forced to pay for parking, pay for scale tickets. You might or might not get reimbursed from your company. Just your overall expenses out on the road are more expensive. Most of the places you can get a truck into to get groceries, the groceries are more high there, like truck stops, things like that. Occasionally you can find a Walmart to go to, but even now, a lot of Walmarts are, you know, not wanting trucks to park there. So then you're left with the option of maybe walking to a Walmart, taking a ride share to a Walmart. And by the time you take a ride share to a Walmart, do you really save any money? And so just, I know everybody's going through a lot right now. I think it's kind of comical you don't see all these YouTubers putting out income videos right now talking about how much money they make. And so it's going to get better. I don't think the answer is getting a truck with $1,200 a week truck payments right now. Uh, I wouldn't go over about 500 or 600 if it was me personally. And you know, you got to keep your maintenance in check and things like that. But I just dropped one of my earpieces adjusting my hair. Hang on a second. All righty, I think I'm back up. So if you're out there, you're definitely running a very lean operation right now. And let's just be honest, let's call it what it is. This is not what you signed up for when you became a truck driver. You didn't sign up to come out here and make 800 a week or 1,000 a week and be away from your family and have all the stress. And you know, the reports I've seen, the shippers are are trying to get the rates even lower, and you can't blame them. It's just like when you ship something, you want to do it as cheap as possible. But at some point, drivers have got to get enough backbone to say, hey, we're not doing this anymore. It's just not worth it. And so, another thing, another channel I watched this week, Trucking Made Successful, Miranda on there said that, they laid off a bunch of people at their company. Now, basically, the two owners of the company, the two partners, are driving the trucks and she's doing the dispatching. So it sounds like, based on what her video said, that they're down to three people. And, you know, she said she's been getting some ridicule about that. And here's the truth. And she said it in her video. I thought it was well said. A lot of people think success goes like this, in a straight upward deal. And oftentimes, success is like the stock market, it goes like this. And so you're going to have setbacks. You're going to have times when things don't go the way you thought they should. And it's how you react in those times and how you persevere through those times that's going to decide how successful you are in life. And we all define success in different ways. For me, success is being able to hang out with my family. I hung out with my oldest son last night. I hung out with my uncle and his family for a little bit earlier this afternoon. To me, that's the ultimate success. It's not how big my bank account is or how fancy a car I drive or none of that. And because those are the things that really matters, the relationships that you make and the friendships you build and things like that. So, you guys know both my parents are gone now, and I'm removing some of the toxic people in my life that I had to maybe keep relationships with in the past for easier access to my parents and things like that. But I've just realized the need to get some of the toxic things out of my life. I'm down to 233 pounds now, so I'm losing weight like crazy. I'm really, really excited about that. I'm going to start doing some other things to increase that. I'd like to get around the 180 to 200 pound mark, and I'm real pleased with that. It's part of the reason I'm not in a hurry to jump back in a truck. But if the market improves a little bit, I may definitely do it. Like I said, the offers are still there, and some of them are pretty good offers. But I'm not going to go out there and sacrifice for pennies. Uh, there was a report that came out that Miranda talked about on Trucking Made Successful that right now the cost to operate a truck, and they include paying the driver, is around 226 a mile. The freight rates right now for dry van are around $1.93, I think she said. So most of the trucks out there are losing 30 cents a mile operating. And where does that money go? Well, they're just not paying themselves as much. So that means that you drivers, you single independent owner operators, you're paying yourself 30 cents a mile less just to make it right now on average. And keep in mind, those rates that she's talking about include those little short 200-mile runs that pay, a little bit better, as well as the really long ones that don't pay as well. So she said actual cost to operate her truck without paying a driver, which is where the two owners are driving, is like $1.43 a mile. And to me, that sounds a little high, but not too far off. So it's just tough right now. And I'm not going to get on here and candy coat it and tell you that it's better than it is. But I'm just going to tell you to don't let what's going on now in the market cause you to do morally bad things you're going to regret later. Do the right thing and it'll pay off eventually in the end. Don't be out there ripping people off or taking shortcuts on maintenance and things like that and putting yourself and others in jeopardy. Do the right thing, and if it doesn't make sense to be out here no more, then stop and come back out when I come back out, if I come back out, and if you come back out. But anyway, that's my soapbox for today, my monologue for the first 15 minutes. I hope you caught it. If you didn't, I hope you'll go back and listen to it again. I hope you'll share this with your friends because I think it's a message that we all need to hear right now. It's real easy. You know, somebody asked me to talk about politics today, and I've tried to stay away from that as much as I can. But we've got to be careful with the rhetoric on both sides. Um, let's argue the issues. Let's not argue the person so much. And because uh, good can prevail over evil just by the facts. We don't have to name call. We don't have to accuse people of being a racist, and we don't have to accuse people of, doing morally bad things in the past. Let's just talk about their issues. Let's look at their track records. Let's look what Trump did when he was in office versus what Biden and Harris did when they were in office. And let's draw some comparisons. Obviously, they're night and day difference. There was a virus that came that I'm not allowed to say the name of on this channel. I think we all know what it is. And that did have some long lasting effects on the economy that are still going on now. But I think if you just take a few minutes and review the facts, that it'll become clear who we should vote for and what we should do. And there's always going to be a cynical group of people that'll say, "Well, I'm not going to vote for anybody. My vote don't count for nothing." And I think we know that's not true now because we've seen what a difference an election could make. Whether you like Trump or not, think of the Supreme Court justices he's been able to get in and what they've done to the country, whether you agree with them or not. Same thing. We've had Kamala Harris and Biden for the last 3.5 years. Think about the changes they've made to the country. Were they better? Are you better off now than you were 3.5 years ago, as Reagan said? And so that's all I'm going to say about politics. You do your research, vote how you want to vote, but understand that elections have consequences, and some of those consequences are being felt right now when you're trying to book loads, or when you're trying to stop at a diesel pump, or when you're trying to buy groceries. Recently, I've shared this. It's just my wife and I. We spent $300 at the grocery store. That would have been several weeks of groceries for us in the past. And for us, it was just about a 1 week worth of supplies. So whether you want to admit it or not, inflation has caused prices to rise. And when they say now that inflation's going down, what they really mean is the rate of growth for inflation's going down. Prices are still going up. They're just not going up as fast as they were before. So inflation's still there. It's still a real monster, and we need to remember that when we go vote again. All right, I think everybody's waited long enough. I'm sure that I'll elaborate throughout this video, but let's jump into some of the comments and see who was here first today. Wow. Over 3.5 hours early was Adam. He says, first one in, hope everything is going good with everyone. Thank you, Adam, for being here. Channel member Robbie Ross. Hiya, friends from Monahans. Headed home to Phoenix for my birthday. Well, happy birthday, Robbie Ross. I texted with him earlier, but I didn't tell him happy birthday like I should have. I'm going to take my hat off. It's getting warm in here. But yeah, I hope you have a safe trip home and a great birthday. He's a really great friend. He's turned out to be a really great friend. And we've known each other for several years, so that's good. Gary Cook, I'm listening from St. Louis, Missouri. It seems like every Sunday when I do a video, you're in somewhere in either Kansas or Missouri. You must run that area a lot. And Don says hello. Hello, Don. Thank you for being here. My good friend and channel member Ramon is in Miami, Florida. Thank you for being here. And he also wishes to wish Robbie Ross a happy birthday. Robbie Ross says thank you. And Don is on time. Yeah, he made it on time this week. And I made it on time, which is a miracle. I was running like crazy. I really probably should have set this video for 5 today, but I told y'all between 3 and 4, and so that's what I'm trying to stick to. The other good news that I did not get to tell you, the schedule at my work, my current job, is about to change on the 8th of September. And when it changes, I should have Sunday and either Saturday off or one of the weekdays. And if we get a weekday off, I'll be able to go back to doing live shows at night on that day like I did before. Used to be Tuesday and Thursday. We'll see. But be praying for that schedule. And hopefully I'll be able to get back and maybe do a Sunday video and a Tuesday or Wednesday video, depending on how the schedule comes out. But I'll have that information. I think they're going to let me know sometime this next week or possibly the week after. As soon as I know, I'll share that information with y'all so that we can get it scheduled. And I may even put out a community post or something. I don't think I'll make a video about it, but I think I'll put out a community post or something so that those of you that follow me will be able to see when that's going to take place and what that's going to mean for everything. And Steve says, happy Sunday. Yes, happy Sunday to everybody. So last night I was at my son's. I mentioned they were having a fundraiser cookout thing for his daughter's, I guess it'd be my granddaughter, it'd be a better way to say it. Her grandmother passed away on the other side of the family, and they were doing a fundraiser to raise money for that funeral. And I went down there and visited and ate a little bit. And I'm on a statin drug. It caused my legs to kind of give out sometimes. I'm fixing to get off of that. I'm going to work with the doctor and get off of it. But as a result of that, I didn't sleep real well last night. I had a lot of leg cramps and pain and things like that. And so I didn't make it to church this morning, but I've still been running like a crazy man, trying to get everything done to where I could get on the air today. But anyway, enough about that. Alvarez 75 says, hello, my friend. Good to see you. Well, thank you for being here. Good to have you. Steve ND86 says, happy birthday, Robbie. Gary Cook, I'm single and it's hard out there. Yes, sir. I think, I'm sure there are, because in every economy, during the Great Depression even, there were people that were successful and there were people that were getting rich during the Great Depression. But right now, as I go around and meet people and talk to people, I don't know anybody that's just killing it right now, that's making more money than they know what to do with. I mean, I think everybody's feeling the pinch. And at my current job, people are calling in. I probably get 6 or 8 calls a day where people say, hey, I've got to figure out a way to get my bill down. We just don't have any money right now. And so, yeah, I think everybody feels it. And, I think at some point I'm going to have to get back in the game. And, I just want to do it at the optimum time. And the optimum time is not once things are great and everybody says, oh, it's great out here again. The optimum time is before that, the build up to it. That's where the real money's made. And so you got to be a little bit of a weather predictor here. And that's why I picked the weather background. Also, because it's our irony, because in Lubbock right now it's super hot. We were over 100 yesterday. It's really hot today. So I thought, man, I'm going to do a background of me in the snow. But yeah, you've either got to hang in there till it gets better if you can, or if you need to step out for a while and come back when it's a little better. There's no shame in that. And I think that's one of the points I wanted to make in this video today. It doesn't mean you're a failure. It doesn't mean you're not successful. It just meant that you're tapping out and asking for a rematch. And there's a lot of big companies doing it. A&A Express, who I thought out of Brandon, South Carolina, that was a reefer company that I actually recommended to you guys. They used to be part of Roadrunner. They got bought out by a private equity group, and they're going bankrupt, laying off like 113, 114 people. So even decent sized companies are struggling right now. And one day it's going to get better. Why? Because it has to. And the question is, can you hang on till it does? And when is it time to tap out? Don't wait till you're so far in debt that you're losing your house and you're homeless and your kids don't have nothing to eat, if you see it's not working and it's not going to get better, uh, kind of like they say in management, either retrain or replace. Retrain for another uh, profession, retrain in what you're doing to where you can get better at it, more efficient, or replace your current job with another job, either temporarily or permanently. I was grateful that I was not driving a truck when I got the call that my dad was about to pass away, because if I'd have been on the road in Montana or Idaho, I wouldn't have got to go to the funeral. I'd have had to park the truck and fly back, and might have missed the funeral. Instead, I got to spend 6 days there, and I did have some pleasant visits with some people and some not so pleasant visits with other people. But thank goodness thank goodness for the stroke and that I wasn't driving a truck, so that I could be there for that, even though it was difficult. All right. Channel member Robbie Ross says, thank you, Steve. Ted Van Buskirk. Hello, Mr. Todd. Good to see you. Hope all is well. Yes, sir. Thank you. Levi says, are you trekking again? No, I'm not eligible until September 14th. I've got another doctor's appointment the first week in September, I think it is. And then if I pass all his cognitive tests and everything, he'll write me a letter that'll allow me to go take my physical again. I'm definitely going to take the physical if I'm eligible, but that doesn't necessarily mean I'll start driving right away. Like I said, what I'm seeing on the market right now and going around the country is not making me want to run to a dealership and get a truck, or run to a mega carrier and do a lease purchase. Although, uh, sorry, I got distracted by something I saw. Um, I'm still reading it. Sorry. Uh, Squirrel. But yeah, it's tough out there right now. But no, I'm not trucking again. Hammer down, driver. Possibly. We'll see. Levi said Brandon, South Dakota. LOL. Is that not what I said? You guys will have to forgive me. I'm still recovering. I'm going to say stuff wrong sometimes. Um, Evidently, I said something wrong, but I'm 99% sure that they're in Brandon, South Dakota. I may have said South Carolina. It wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't be the first time I've ever misspoke on this channel accidentally, but I definitely do it now more than I did before. And if you find humor in that, good for you. Football season is back, yes. And I didn't get to watch either of the Cowboys preseason games. I think there's been two, if I'm not mistaken. I haven't been able to watch any Cowboys football this year. It just hadn't meshed up with my schedule, but I'm not expecting them to have a killer season. I do hope I'm wrong about that as well. All right, folks, we're 29 minutes in. We're caught up on the comments. I'm going to give y'all a few more minutes to type, and then if y'all don't get nothing, I'm going to get out of here. But we'll do what we always do when we get to this point and the comments kind of drop off. If you can, look right below the video. Give this video a thumbs up. Share this video on your social media platforms to get the word out. Join me every Sunday between 3 and 4. We'll start a live show sometime in there. If you're subscribed, you'll get a notification before that video goes live. And then look for some announcements about other days that we're going to be able to start doing lives as well. But yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking about everything right now. If you know of any good companies where you are doing really well, let me know. I think right now probably the best place to be would be either on a private fleet or maybe a mega carrier. And I know nobody likes mega carriers, but when you need something stable, that might be the place to go. Now, a mega carrier is going to pay you less oftentimes than what other people will, but less might be more right now for the stability you get. I'm going to bring the piano up for this next comment. Let me go to my living room. I'm out on the porch. Let me get in the living room. And Stephen Lyle Logistics said, I seen on Google that your Cowboys are the most valuable franchise in sports history. I can't believe you traded a piano for them. Well, the important thing to remember there, and I want to keep this, oh, crud. I never actually owned the Cowboys. I owned Texas Stadium, and here's a picture of me in Texas Stadium. And I gave it back to Jerry Jones so that I could have this piano right here. And it was because you guys loved it when I would sing piano ballads here on the channel. And you know, I'm a giver. Sure, I could make millions a year with AT&T Stadium, but why would I want to do that when I could sing for you here for free? More solid economic advice from Trucker Todd. I try to stay east of Colorado. Okay, well, that makes sense. I used to go west of Colorado because nobody liked to go out there, and I could usually get some pretty good rates out there. But I wasn't married to any one part of the country. I'd go wherever the money was. And Robbie Ross, channel member, Cowboys won last night. Yes, sir, they did, and it looked like they won pretty decisively. If I get time later, I may go back and watch some of the highlights. Stephen Lyle says, LOL. Yes, sir. All righty, things have kind of dropped off here. If y'all got anything else, get it out there. If not, I'm going to hop off here. It's hot in this room for some reason. And if you've got a lot of questions, I'm going to go turn the AC up. Matter of fact, I think I'm going to do that anyway. Y'all hang on just a second. I'll be right back. I hear it running outside, but it's not cooling off in here. I don't know if knocking it down another degree will make a difference or not. And I got a ceiling fan going in here. Maybe if I turn it up a little more. And it may be on, huh? I guess that was high. I'm just going to have to live with it. This room that I do videos in is usually the coolest room in the house, but today it's not so much. Channel member Robbie Ross, it was good to be in Dallas last night and see it on CBS 5. Yeah, I bet Dallas was lit up last night. The Chicago Bears have won the last two preseason games. Go Bears. Yeah, but here's the deal. You can't really put a lot of weight on preseason because the starters ain't even out there for most of the game. So it's a chance to see the new talent and try to get excited for your team. But the last preseason games where the starters play most or all of the game, those are the ones that I enjoy watching more. And also, they're doing basic play calling for the most part. You're not going to see a lot of trick plays or things that they got planned for the regular season because they don't want to show all their cards. In celebration of NFL returning, I did play John Madden football yesterday. So I rarely get to play video games anymore. But it was fun to do that as well. Go Bears, Gary. They looked really good. Yeah, I'll be glad when I can sit down and watch a little football. That's what I miss about trucking too, is I had satellite radio and I could just listen to it going down the road if the phone wasn't ringing. David Edwards. Hey, bub. How are you feeling? Are you back trucking? So, not yet. I've got to wait till September 14th to take my physical, and I've got to go to the neurologist before that and get cleared. And I've got an appointment with them the first part of September. But yeah, it's I'm having some troubles with falling. I've always had troubles with falling when they put me on a statin drug, which is for cholesterol. And so tomorrow morning, I'm going to ask the doctor if he'll pull me off that statin or lower the dosage or put me on a different type of statin or something because it's I'm having really bad leg cramps at night, trouble walking sometimes, and it's all because of that statin drug. It's not stroke related. And I do feel a million times better. I am getting close to back to myself. I'm down to 233 pounds, and so I'm headed in the right direction. And quite honestly, the parts of the family that care about me are asking me not to drive a truck again because they like seeing all the healthy changes in my life, and they like being able to see me more and things like that. But I did a video about this. Am I coming back to trucking? And it's going to depend on a lot of factors. But one of the big factors is the economy is going to have to get better. And so we'll see what happens. But yeah, a lot of companies going under, and it's really sad to see companies that I thought would be here forever. And we got a super sticker from Robbie Ross, channel member, $20. Thank you very much, my friend. I appreciate that. Super sticker. I don't know if I deserve it, but I definitely appreciate it. Thank you for that. Stephen Lyle. Todd, as Bears fans, we have to enjoy a victory whenever we can. Our wins are hard to come by. Yeah. See, our problem is the exact opposite. And it doesn't matter who the quarterback is. So before y'all start jumping on Dak, Tony Romo had the same problem. We do great during the season. We get to the playoffs and we choke, usually in the first or second round. And so it's worse. I mean, Chicago Bears, you get a victory whenever you can. For us, we get a bunch of them and think we got a shot, and then we blow it in the playoffs. And so we always say next year is going to be different. We all like to beat up on Dak and say it's Dak's fault, but we had the same problems with Romo. Romo choked several times too. And when you start telling me how great Romo was, how many Super Bowl rings does Romo have? I'll give you the hint. He's got the exact same number as Dak Prescott does. And before you start telling me how much cheaper Romo was than Dak is, as far as salary caps and stuff, keep in mind that that was almost a decade ago. And so prices across the board for everything have changed. I bet you're making a lot more now than you were 10 years ago, or you were till all this other stuff happened. But minus the inflation and the economy, if everything was normal, you'd be making more than you were 10 years ago. Gary Cook, this season, I hope the Chicago Bears beat the Green Bay Packers. Yeah, that's probably one of the great rivalries in football, the Chicago Bears and the Green Bay Packers. Those games are best to watch when it's real snowy. I would love to watch a Chicago Bears Green Bay game with heavy snowfall. Ted Van Buskirk, does that new shot help you any? So I just finished taking my fourth dosage of Manjaro. So I've been on it for 4 weeks now, and absolutely, I'm losing weight like crazy. For those that don't know, and I'm not an expert, I can't explain this perfectly, but Manjaro does basically what Ozempic was doing, but it's got one more thing in it that kind of accelerates weight loss, and I'm seeing it. I'm going to the bathroom a lot more, so that's not necessarily a good thing, but it is helping with weight loss. And if you're trying to lose weight, if you're struggling with weight, talk to your doctor. I'm not a doctor, let me say that. I'm not offering medical advice. but I am encouraging you to talk to your doctor about options to help you get healthier. And we'll just leave it at that. But yeah, I'm very satisfied with the results. It's actually easier to take Mounjaro than it was Ozempic. Ozempic, you had to put the little needle on it and all of that. The Mounjaro, it's already got the needle loaded, and you just stick it up to your skin and pull the needle, and it takes about 5 or 10 seconds to inject the medicine into you. Well, looky there, Robbie Ross, channel member for 10 months. I sure appreciate that. He's been a channel member for 10 months, but he's been a friend for all the way back to my Roadrunner days. So good guy, stuck with me. Um, and I really appreciate him. And we talk several times a week, usually through text though. And he says, I'm optimistic on the Cowboys season. Well, I hope you're right. I'm reluctant. And David Edwards says, well, the economy is not going to improve for about a year, and only if the right people are put in office. I generally agree with that. I generally agree with that. You know, if you have I'll give you both scenarios. If you have a Harris presidency and a Republican Congress, nothing good's going to happen. The Republicans are going to block everything she suggests, whether it's a good idea or not. And same thing, if you have a Trump presidency, but you have a Democratic Congress, they're going to block everything he suggests, even if it's a great idea. We need a clean sweep. We need one party to completely win it all. And you know, if you think that electric cars and environmental policies and regulation are the way to make things better, if you think the last 3.5 years look great, then you're hoping for a Democrat president and you're hoping for a Democratic Congress. If you think that things were better 4 years ago with a Trump presidency prior to that big virus that I can't talk about, then you need a Republican sweep. Any kind of mixture just doesn't help because, for the most part, I don't want to say they don't care about the country, but it's kind of like we're talking about here, rooting for your football team. It's not that you want, um, you know, for example, it's not that the Chicago Bears want the Green Bay Packers quarterback to get hurt. But if he does get hurt, it makes it easier for them to play them and win. So they're not going to necessarily wish bad on the Green Bay Packers. They're just not going to wish good for them either, if that makes any sense. And so, yeah, we'll keep going. So somebody asked here, Gary Cook says, how many rings does Troy Aikman have? Troy Aikman has 3, but he would have had a lot more had the NFL not interceded. If you remember, that's when they started talking about salary caps and all of that, because Cowboys won 2 in a row. And had Jimmy Johnson not left, they could have kept winning. And they won 3 in 4 years' time. So they were starting to be called a dynasty, if you remember back then. And they were very, very dominant. And being the largest, I would say they're the largest NFL franchise. Somebody said earlier that they're the most valuable sports team in the world. And with that, it gives them the ability to recruit the best, to pay the best. So we needed salary caps to even things out. And that's when the NFL interceded to make it more fair for everybody else. There's no telling how many rings that Troy and Michael and Emmett would have gotten. I realize Michael had the back injury, but they were very dominant on the field and they had tons of weapons on the field. And Robbie Ross confirming what I said. He's a channel member, by the way. Troy has 3, Gary. David Edwards, go Niners. Personally think they should trade Debo and keep, I can't say that guy's name, but yeah, we'll see. So Poplar says, Todd, I heard you mention a mega carrier. You still thinking of leasing or going company? So I haven't made any decisions, including if I'm coming back to trucking. I just don't think the market conditions are right now. But the focus is going to be a little different this time. The focus, whatever I do, is going to be centered around stability, how often I think I can get home, stress level, flexibility, things like that. But I wouldn't rule out a mega carrier, especially if the economy is kind of shaky. But if all things were equal, I'd really like to go back to SRO Logistics. I still feel like that was the best place. His email, if anybody wants to check him out, is safety@srologistics.com. He's a great guy, treated me the most fairly of any company I've ever worked for. And so, and I got to come home quite a bit because I self-dispatched and negotiated my own rates and everything. There are some advantages that a larger carrier has that a smaller carrier doesn't. And there's some advantages that a smaller carrier has that a larger carrier don't. So I'm really up in the air about what I'll do. For now, I've got an okay job. There's days I love it. Most days I don't like it. Honestly, because it's a union job. And I've always had performance-based jobs where my success was determined by how well I did and if I outperformed others and things like that. In a union job, your goal is to just be status quo. There's no benefit to excel. You're just it's almost socialistic or communistic in thought process. You just want to be average. They put out these guidelines, these quotas. You just want to be average. There's a bonus level, and when you get to the cap of that bonus, it doesn't matter how great you are. That's as big a bonus as you're going to get. And so it's taken some adjustment for me. He says, but I love good old smash mouth football. Yeah, I remember back in the 80s when quarterbacks started getting paid the big money, and they said, well, they have to be paid this big money. And this was after Joe Theismann broke his leg. And they were saying quarterbacks need to be paid this big money because they could get hurt on the field and have a life-changing injury. And so then they started paying these quarterbacks these astronomical numbers. And then they started putting all these rules in there to protect the quarterback. You can only hit him basically in the strike zone. If he slides, you got to let up, all this other. And so the quarterbacks are so protected now that it's not impossible for injuries to get it happen. Sometimes they'll hit their hand on a helmet or something. Occasionally there'll be an injury. But relatively speaking, compared to past years of football, being a quarterback's the safest it's ever been. The equipment's got better. And so I'm like, why are they getting paid these astronomical wages if the reasons that we gave them the raises for originally don't exist anymore? And you say, well, they make a lot of money off the players. And they do, shirt sales, things like that, ticket sales. But that's why tickets are so expensive that the average man with a family of four, a wife and two kids, can't take his kids to the game. It's a big expense. And so I realize that's the way all sporting things are now, but I don't think it's right. I liked old school football a lot better. And while I'm on it, this will upset my uncle, I liked old school NASCAR a lot better. I mean, if you're gonna put a Toyota Camry out there racing a Mustang and a Camaro, make the Camry look like a Camry. Make the Mustang and Camaro look like a Mustang and a Camaro. Does anybody think in the real world that a Camry would have a shot against a Mustang or a Camaro in a race? I mean, let's you go back in the 80s and the cars look like cars you saw on the street with a bunch of bumper stickers on them. And that's when I enjoyed NASCAR a lot more, when the cars look like cars. The saying stock car meant at one time, especially in the late 60s, a stock car. That's where the Hertz Mustang came in handy. It got raced a lot. People would go get a Hertz Mustang and race it over the weekend, then return it the rental on Monday. So I would like to see true stock cars out there. This crap that they're building now, if you're gonna make a front wheel drive Camry, then make a front wheel drive NASCAR. If you're gonna make an electric something, make an electric car to race out there. Make the Mustang and the Camaro more stock like. It doesn't have to have the engine, but at least have the body. Gary Cook, it's funny that the virus suddenly disappeared when Biden became president. It's funny. Yeah, it's still around. People get it, but nobody dies now. It's not on the news anymore. What's really funny, if you want to think about it, nobody gets the cold or flu anymore. Everybody's got some strain of that virus. The next comment's funny. Stephen Lyle Logistics, a small correction. We Bear fans actually do hope for bad things to happen to Green Bay. Oh, that's funny. That is funny. I wonder, even now, but with Tom Brady too, do you think at any of these halftime locker room deals the coach ever said, I know we're going to take a penalty. Somebody's probably going to get ejected for the game, but I want somebody to take a low hit on Brady, or I want somebody to take a low hit on Patrick Mahomes. I guess that would be targeting. I would hope that no team would do it, but somewhere in the history of the NFL, somebody has done that. Gary came in on Green Bay. You guys are funny. When I think about the Chicago Bears, I think about the '85 Bears with the McMahon. I can't remember his first name. The quarterback McMahon, with William the Refrigerator Perry, with Singletary. When they did that song, the Super Bowl Shuffle, they had some character back then. I liked the '85 Bears, and that was a dominant football team. When I eventually get back into it, I can't say I want to lease again. I just want to be pointed in a direction and told go and watch me go like the wind or like a wind up toy. Exactly. And, I may do that too. There's some opportunities around here to haul milk and do some stuff like that, pulling a tanker. Now, will I buy a truck and do that? Will I drive a company truck? Let's see what offers they put on the table. I'm getting a lot of offers right now. And the problem is, I have the same problem you guys do. And the problem is, driver recruiters make it sound like, rainbows and sunshine. And trucking companies do that to me. They would love to have Trucker Todd working there saying how great their company is. But the first time I say something negative, then they're going to be mad. And every company has negative, and that's what they don't understand. And so, yeah, I'm coming back probably at some point. I think I've got to, but I don't know if it'll be company. I'm even looking at some hot shot stuff. There's some hot shot stuff around here. I'd have to buy a dually, but I could run up to Kansas and up to Oklahoma and come right back to Lubbock. That's awful tempting. And then I could still fly out and do truck shows or drive up and do truck shows or whatever I wanted to do as well. David Edwards said, I live in Big Ten country, grew up on Bo and Woody rivalry. There you go. That's the best thing about sports is the rivalries. Robbie Ross, channel member. I'm in a lease. I'm happy with it. My truck has been very reliable. Have not had a major breakdown. And I think that's, but I think we need to tell the flip side of that. That was channel member Robbie Ross. So one of the biggest factors on if you'll be successful or not is how good a truck you get. And it's really just a crapshoot. I don't care how many tests you do or what you do to your truck. Something's going to get missed or could get missed, and you could still have problems. Robbie Ross, the other side of that is maintenance. He takes exceptional care of his truck. He's meticulous in the maintenance, and I think that has a lot to do with the success that he's found at the company he's with. And I don't know if he wants that said on here or not. It's a company that I worked for previously, and I had a lot of good years there. So I think he's with a decent company, and I think he got a decent truck, but I think he also kept it decent by staying up on his maintenance and not letting stuff slide. He did all the things right that I won't be able to do if I come back in and purchase a truck or lease a truck. He started with a fairly decent amount of money in savings, so that when he did have a breakdown, he was ready for it. He also contributes pretty generously to his maintenance account, and I think that makes a big difference as well. But definitely, uh, Robbie Ross knows how to run a business. He's a smart guy, and that has a lot to do with why he's doing so well. That's it. So I was saying earlier, I couldn't remember the '85 Bears quarterback. It was Jim McMahon. Uh, for some reason, I kept wanting to say Ed McMahon, and I was like, I know it's not Ed McMahon, but it was McMahon. It was Jim McMahon. You are correct. And Gary Cook says Walter Payton. Yeah, I used to love to watch Walter Payton carry the ball. Take a low hit on Manning. Might not happen in football, but it sure happened in ice skating with Nancy Kerrigan. Yeah, it sure did. Tanya Harding and Nancy Kerrigan. And I recently saw Tanya Harding. She's doing those world's dumbest videos where she makes fun of people. Uh, she definitely turned lemons into lemonade out of her situation. You would think she'd get blacklisted from everything, but she's still getting gigs. And ironically, you don't hear much out of Nancy Kerrigan anymore. But if I was Nancy Kerrigan, I'd be like, don't we have security around here? How can people just walk up to me and hit me in the knee with a stick? Where's security? Come on now. Poplars, LOL. For sure, those ice girls are mean. I'll tell you another sport. If you want to see some brutality, soccer. Those guys, they'll be running full speed and take somebody's legs out from underneath them. And another rough sport is hockey, basically an organized street fight. And they'll let you go till somebody's not upright, and then they make you stop because they're worried about you cutting each other with the blades on your skates. But I mean, they'll beat the tar out of each other, and if you see them off the ice, most of them got a lot of teeth missing. And Robbie Ross is comfortable. He's channel member, by the way, sharing where he works at. He does work at Dart Transit, and seems to be pretty happy over there. Lives in Phoenix. They work with him to get him home when he wants to go home, but he has had really good luck with his truck. And I say luck, it's not luck. Like I said, he does meticulous pre-trips and post-trips. He fixes stuff when it needs to be fixed. He doesn't wait till he's on the side of a road with a big problem. Yeah, rugby is another one, says David Edwards. Rugby, like if you never watched rugby, it's like football with less rules. But they get, and kind of like soccer too, they'll take their legs out, and it's a miracle any of them can walk at the end of a game. All right, we're caught up on the comments. We're still doing pretty good. The fan is not blowing at all now. I thought I'd put it on high, but I guess I turned it off. That may be why I'm losing weight. All right, let's see what else we got. Channel member Robbie Ross says, if y'all have not tried them, get you some saucy nugs. Where is that from? Oh, he said it in the next comment. From Wendy's. They were doing a deal a while back where if you use the Wendy's app, they were giving away like a 6-piece or a 4-piece or something for free. And I didn't make it over there. I don't know if they still got that on the app or not, but I'll have to check it out. Are they spicy, or how would you describe them? Stephen Lyle Logistics says, not sure how the hopper work is in your area with the cattle feed yards, but I've been okay lately. About $3 a mile, but only 250 miles a day, home every day. That's not bad work to be home every day. I would definitely be interested in something like that. And so we'll see. There's a lot of opportunities around here. There's some peanut runs to East Texas and back. Something like that. Something that keeps me in the area, but I still get to get out and stretch my legs a little bit. I got to see what the money looks like. Like I mentioned, there's some tanker milk runs around here. I get calls all the time. It's just, I'll know. It's kind of like when you meet the right girl and you want to get married, you just know it's the right person. Same thing with trucking. Uh, when when the right opportunity presents itself, I'll know that it's time and I'll jump on it. And same thing, I'll tell you all about it. I'm not going to go, oh, I found this great deal and nobody can know about it. I'm not going to tell you about it the first week I'm doing it, because the trolls go, oh, there he is recruiting again. But I'll try it out. If I really believe it's a good deal, I'll tell you about it. And if I believe it's a bad deal, I'll say, hey, don't ever do this. I did it. It's not what it's cracked up to be. But I'm going to be honest with y'all either way. Channel member Robbie Ross says you can get. So I'm guessing that they still have. Oh, here you go. He corrected himself. He says you can get spicy. I get the garlic parmesan. That's probably what I'd want too. So they're kind of like Wild Wings. They're basically are they boneless, or do they have a bone in them? And more about what we was saying about the economy a minute ago. It's hitting the YouTube world too. My channel's making about 1/4 of what it used to make, and we're getting probably about 1/3 as many views as we used to get. And I've been flipping around watching other channels. They're having the same problem. Their views are way down. It's just everybody's in a little bit of a slump right now, and we need something optimistic to get us out of it. I think a couple of good weeks in trucking would help a lot, and it would definitely tempt me to get back in if I could just see something to be optimistic about. Perhaps what happens in November will make me optimistic. And November, December is a terrible time to be in trucking no matter what. So maybe January or February of next year would be the time that I go, that it's the time to jump back in. Oh, yeah, I definitely got to go to Wendy's. He said it's the chicken nuggets. Oh, yeah. So my wife will be home any minute, and we may go do that. I'll talk to her and see what she says, especially if we can get some for free and try them out. That would definitely be a deal. All righty, y'all got anything else before I hop off here? Oh, here we go. We got another one that my mouse was or my cursor was covering up. My channel did good when I was at JB Hunt doing different content. People don't care about copper work. I just do it for fun. Yeah, I may be getting in touch with you, Stephen Law Logistics, to ask you more about that in the coming weeks. Um, if you get a chance, email me Todd at truckertodd.net and give me your contact info, and I'll save it in my phone, and I'll call you when it gets closer to time. But yeah, I wouldn't be opposed to that. I don't know anything about it. I'd have to be trained, but uh, but I would definitely consider it. You know, it. I guess I better talk about that too while we're on it. That'll give you all time to type more comments. You know, I never. You can go back and ask the people that were with me when I started this channel. I never started a YouTube channel thinking I'm going to have 100,000 subscribers or I'm going to get 1 million views or nothing like that. I remember telling people if I could just get 100 subscribers, I'd be happy. I just wanted to help people. That's really all I wanted to do. And then I saw that you could make money at it, and I enjoy making money from it. I enjoy making money from everything I do to make money. But it was never the goal. And so when I come back, would it be great if I could have another Swift run and get all those views and make all that money? Sure. But if I could do hopper work and still help truck drivers, I'd be okay with that too. People said, "Oh, Todd only does it for the money. He only does it for recruiting." I uh, I worked for SRO Logistics up until my stroke, and I only recruited one person, a good friend of mine, and so I obviously wasn't there for the money. I was there because it was a good company. I still had content come out. I still had people watching my videos. I still made, even at SRO Logistics, I made about twice as much a month off of YouTube as what I currently do. Money's way down. So for those that are out there, the naysayers saying, "Oh, Trucker Todd only does this for the money." Uh, Trust me when I tell you, if I were doing it for the money, I wouldn't be doing it right now. It At one time it was paying several bills in my household, and right now it's not doing that. I'm not going to give exact numbers, but trust me, the numbers are way down, and I get it. It's watching a guy complain about his health and about having a stroke and about losing weight probably isn't as entertaining as me going down the highway. But I promise to be honest with you guys, whether the channel grows or whether the channel dies, that's what I'm going to do. But I feel like if I get back in trucking in some capacity, even if I'm a dispatcher, that some of those people that forgot about me will come back. And I've said from the beginning that, if I died tomorrow, in a couple of weeks, in a month, nobody would remember who I am. I've known what this is what all along, but I've had my 15 minutes of fame. I've had a lot of fun out here, and when it's over, it's over. But I'm going to stay on here and continue to help people as long as I can, even if people question my motives. Robbie Ross, channel member, says, and $1 frosty. Well, I'm going to try to talk her into it. We'll see what she says. We'll see what she says. She's smiling, so she looks like she's in a good mood. All righty, it looks like it's dying down now. If y'all have got anything else, I'll hang around. If not, I'm going to hop off here and have that discussion with her. And I guess we'll see you next weekend. If I can find time to put something out during the week, I will. I've got some stuff upcoming. When I was at the funeral, I was given a book. It's got 63 short stories in it, I believe. It was written by a family member of mine, and they wanted me to read it and tell them what I thought about it. So I'll read it and I'll tell y'all what I thought about it as well as tell them what I thought about it. Stephen Law Logistics said I sent it. Send a text first, otherwise I will think you're trying to sell me a dispatch service and not answer it. Oh, that's funny. No, I'm going to sell you a extended car warranty. You may not know this, Stephen, but your factory warranty is about to expire. I'll also do a telemarketing call for what's the other one? You may owe back taxes, and I can help you with that. You won a drawing for a Walmart gift card. I got all kinds of things I can try to sell you on your voicemail. But anyway, I'm just joking. Yeah, I'll text you for sure when it gets closer to time. I got to get through this neurology appointment in the first part of September, and I got to see what the neurologist says and if I can pass the physical. I pulled a muscle in my right knee too. It's got to heal up a little. I don't think I can pass the physical until that. My name is Nobody. Hadn't seen you in a while. Glad you're here. Says, hey, I missed it. I'll catch the replay. Yeah, please do. It was a pretty good show. We're winding it down now. I got to talk to the wife about the things. She thought I was going to say the old lady. She gave me a dirty look. Nope, got to talk to the wife about what we've discussed here tonight. She didn't get to see it. She was at work. Y'all have a great day, and we'll catch you on the next video. Bye-bye.